Next week on EastEnders brings a series of dramatic events. Whitney gives birth, George confronts his health issues, and Bianca's actions upset Whitney. Denzel's steroid use causes trouble, while Nugget faces tough decisions. Meanwhile, Cindy's revelation about George's boxing raises concerns. The square is filled with tension and surprises. 13 massive spoilers for next week's EastEnders. Next week on EastEnders, Whitney gives birth, George meets his son Junior in person, and Nugget becomes entangled in Denzel's steroid narrative. Here is a comprehensive list of the most significant upcoming events. 1. George's concern for the nights when Elaine returns to the Vic. She is disappointed to learn that George is not at all upset by her leaving. Soon after, Cindy appears and says that George is prepared to fight despite his prognosis, which sends his family into a tailspin. Gina attempts to use blackmail to get George to back down, but he refuses to give in. 2. George and his son get back together. Anna consoles Elaine, who is still inconsolable about George. Anna, resolute to take action, tries at the last minute to break up the quarrel and leaves her brother Junior with a message. Later on, George chooses to end the battle after meeting Junior face to face and is taken aback. 3. Amy takes a major choice. Amy grows envious of the developing bond between Denzel and influencer Ebony. Amy confides in Penny after deciding to sleep with Denzel, but Penny advises her to wait until she's ready. Amy requests to spend some time alone with Denzel upstairs at Denzel's party. 4. Bianca has left Whitney enraged. In order to get things for Whitney's wedding, Bianca asks Brittany for assistance. After Bianca is unable to negotiate a better price with the market vendors, Brittany quickly reverts to her previous behavior. Bianca and Brittany's efforts have thrilled Whitney, and the three of them share a touching moment while Whitney tries on her wedding gown. When Brittany unintentionally divulges information about her and Bianca's previous shenanigans, the joyous occasion is spoiled. Bianca's willingness to let Brittany steal has infuriated Whitney. She commands Bianca to leave her life and abdicates her of her maid of honor responsibilities. 5. Tommy serves as a matchmaker. When Alfie's hormone therapy comes to a conclusion, Kat throws a celebratory dinner for him and the boys at Walford East. Tommy asks Alfie whether he wants to reunite with Kat after observing his behavior toward her during the meal. Tommy tries to act as a matchmaker between his parents after realizing he might be correct and brings the twins home. 6. Lauren battles keeping her secret. When Lauren gets to Whitney's, she saves the day by finding her buddy a Hindu attire. When Whitney asks Lauren to be the maid of honor after their falling out, Lauren is shocked. Although Lauren agrees, it's obvious that she and Zach are still overcome with remorse. 7. Yolanda and Patrick decide how to leave. Levi reassures Yolanda that her inquiry won't be stalled, so she chooses to take a vacation with Patrick. Denzel has other plans, despite Yolanda's assurance that Denise or Chelsea will move in with him while they are abroad. Later, he begs Yolanda for permission to demonstrate that he can be relied upon to support himself. 8. Amy is heartbroken. Denzel tries to sleep with Amy, but due to the steroids, Denzel has trouble. Denzel tries to hide his humiliation from Amy, insulting her in the process, while she tries to console him about what transpired. Nugget tries to cheer Amy up when he finds her in McClunky's, but he misjudges the situation and tries to kiss her. Penny takes Amy's later stillness for flirtation, but when she realizes how sad Amy is, she starts to worry. 9. Bianca meets a new romantic partner. Junior feels uncomfortable at the Vic and makes up an excuse to leave. After arriving at Peggy's, he encounters Bianca. Before long, the two are returning to Bianca's, where they share a bed. 10. Bianca issues a directive to Lauren. Whitney and Zach Stendu is today, and Walford people are getting ready to dress up to honor the happy couple. Whitney gets irritated that Lauren is portrayed as a saint but still hasn't forgiven Bianca. Bianca, tired of all the falsehoods, gives Lauren a deadline. Either she informs Whitney that she had an affair with Zach, or Bianca will. 11. Nugget discovers some harsh realities. Penny argues that talking is the solution, but she still asks that Amy hold Denzel and Nugget responsible for their actions. Denzel ends his relationship with Amy after Nugget tells him he kissed her. After that, Nugget receives some harsh reality from Amy, which makes him question his friendships. 12. Whitney gives birth. Lauren tries to tell Whitney about her concerns about Zach, but she changes her mind at the last minute, under pressure from Bianca. Bianca shows up to comfort Whitney, thinking the truth would have come to light by now, but Penny steps in. Under false pretenses, Penny entices Lauren and Whitney into the taco van and locks them inside. Lauren is about to spill the beans to her buddies, and just as they become heated, Whitney's water suddenly breaks. 13. Nugget takes a troubling choice. Following an embarrassing encounter with Ebony and a run-in with Penny, Nugget keeps questioning his friendships. Later, erroneously believing that steroids will solve his problems, he begs Denzel to give him some. Spoilers for EastEnders: Cindy's terrifying revelation as George receives terrible news following his collapse in EastEnders. George Knight was given some unsettling news at the hospital. This year has been quite the journey for the beloved figure. George learned he was adopted through a practice known as child farming after Eddie and Gloria, his adoptive parents, arrived. This led to a plot point in which George found out that Eddie was on trial for the death of his biological father. Following the unexpected turn of events and Eddie's imprisonment, George had to bid goodbye to Gloria, who passed away from a heart attack. Adding to his trauma, George has been dealing with a lot, so it makes sense that he has been finding it difficult to handle things. The BBC One soap opera Today saw George preparing a speech at Gloria's memorial. Phil, Cindy, and Johnny were among those who gathered in the Square Gardens to support the Knight clan when it finally got going. George fell to the ground as he was speaking, having suddenly gone into another dizzy episode. A medical professional informed George that he had chronic traumatic encephalopathy as the Knight family and Cindy entered the ward area. CTE is a brain disease that results in the loss of brain nerve cells and is most likely brought on by recurrent head trauma. George was aware that the diagnosis was related to his past as a boxer, but the physician also mentioned that the scan revealed more recent head trauma. She then warned the Knights that George might not survive if he took another strike to the head in the future. George eventually admitted that he had resumed boxing as a result, and Gina later revealed that Cindy was aware of it but had concealed it. George's choice to return to the ring shocked Elaine. If George wanted to kill himself, she would push him off the Vic roof and say there are easier ways to die, darling. After receiving so much life-altering news from his family, a shattered George broke to his family and said he felt as though he had lost himself. He was looking for something that would allow him to feel like George Knight once more. Gina, Anna, and Elaine all felt bad for George, but Elaine made sure to let her partner know that fighting is never, ever an option. In Albert Square that evening, George saw a man and went up to talk to him. The man claimed to be giving George his winnings from the game last night as he handed him a large bundle of cash. He was clearly tempted when he told George that a battle was planned for the following week. But George had been too far away to notice Cindy, observing the exchange. However, what will he do? Will he battle and endanger his life? Please subscribe our channel.